So one of the game genres that I loved to play a lot as a kid was fighting games.
It has begun!
I would play everything from Tekken to Star Wars. There was this, I can never pronounce the name of the game, so I'm not even going to attempt to, but I will put like a little video clips for you all to watch.
Star Wars Master of Tetris Crazy? Tetris Cassay?
It's a weird game. I also would play like Clay Fighter.
Here it comes! Diamond Fox! Fatality!
It was another game that I played. But as a child in the 90s, I was heavy into hip-hop. And one of the games that I loved to play, and it was a fighting game, was called DefJam Vendetta, or the sequel DefJam for New York.
Murder in here, this bitch just get smoke. Light up the cutchy.
And Vendetta came out in 2003, whereas Vendetta came out in 2003. Fight for New York came out in 2004, and then Takeover came out in 2006. I never played the Icon, which came out in 2007, and I had to look it up just to sit there and check on all of these dates. But essentially, Def Jam just kind of became lost. Everybody remember, like, all my friends remember playing it. All my friends remember loving it. And just, there was never like another sequel. We constantly were hearing rumors about a potential full-blown like Def Jam fighting game coming out, but it never happened, and it kind of sucked, and it was very, very sad. But I just never really thought about it too much. Although when I do think of Def Jam, I do think about another game that I feel is very, very much kind of look past in terms of one of the best action-adventure games to ever come out on the Xbox, and that was called 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. The whole game had you playing to a 50 Cent music and just being a hero, and it was really, really fun, and I personally loved the game a lot. But outside of that, Def Jam, basically just nobody talked about it until today. We're actually going to be checking out an article where Ice-T is going to confirm, or at least let fans of Def Jam Vendetta / Fight for New York / The Takeover / if you played it, the Icon, what exactly happened to it. So let's head over to Kotaku to find out.
Fact, you and now all my bitches.
Alright, so the headline reads, rapper Ice-T reveals why popular Def Jam fighting game is MIA. Yesterday's price is not today's price, the artist said. Okay. So I'm guessing this is probably going to be due to the fact that there's probably contractual disagreements in terms of how much the people who their likeness and their brand was being used in the game. And this is EA, by the way, that came out with this. In the early aughts, EA dropped an unexpected fighting game that dominated the lives of every gamer I knew, including mine and my cousins. This partnership with the hip-hop record label Def Jam spawned 3 iconic brawling games, but the series has been MIA since 2007. Now rapper Ice-T has seemingly explained why the Def Jam fighting game franchise hasn't seen a comeback or a remake in nearly 20 years. Ice-T, born Tracy Lauren Mara, took to X/Twitter on January 7th to dish on DefJam. In response to some popular tweets, one is a TikTok repost of Jamaican rapper Sean Paul calling rapper Scarface rascalet or rascalat, Jamaican for asswipe. Okay, all right, thank you. The other is a video of Ice-T calling rapper Redman a punk. Ice-T speculated the series hasn't been brought back due to licensing agreements between publisher and talent, and that my guess is that it's probably factual. But let's see here. Goes on to read. So many people ask why the game hasn't been brought back for newer consoles. Ice-T said in a quote retweet of this character pummeling Redman, maybe because they'd have to pay for a voice and music rights. Again, maybe. So this is a tweet from Ice-T here, and I can play the video. By the way, DefJam had some of the sickest slow-mo moves. This was better than WWE 2K.
Hey yo, little tip, try blocking with your hands instead of your face, bitch.
You're nothing but a punk, your daddy's a punk, and your mama's a bitch.
It's just I love this game. In response, a fan tweeted that if EA released an HD remake and sequel to the DefJam games, the company will make millions upon millions. It's hard to say if Ice-T agrees, but the rapper said he wasn't paid much for his contribution. I'm sure they extremely lowballed him. I mean, I can't imagine, even though I'm sure, Ice-T or whoever else was in the game played video games, knew about video games. I'm sure they didn't think that too much of it at the time. Like, hey, no, they're just gonna use this our likeness for this, and we're not gonna be asking for much because it's cool. We're gonna be in a video game, and that's probably what happened. And then EA being EA lowballed them when it was disrespectful, and they're like, no, we're not doing this. This is another tweet from Ice-T. It says, here's the big problem. I don't think they paid any of us anything to be in that original game. Well, that would be crazy. I know I didn't get any type of substantial money. It was a situation where you didn't want to be left out of the game. Well, yesterday's price is not today's price. Yeah, so basically you got one big name, or a couple big names, and then everybody else just kind of follows suit, even though they're getting lowballed. Here's the big problem. Let's see. So that's just the tweet. DefJam as a fighting game series pulled up to the scene with 2003's Wrestle Brawl Vendetta. If you can imagine WWE with a bunch of rappers like the late artist DMX, rapper turned internet personality Joe Budden, then you've got the idea. This game's success, which by some estimates sold 750,000 units by July 2006, spawned the 2004 sequel Fight for New York. This entry skyrocketed the series to mainstream status with an expanded roster featuring women artists such as rappers Lil Kim and Shauna. You imagine if this game was remade today with some of these female rappers that be coming out? Okay, so one of the things I wanted to kind of show everyone here is the same people that made the WWF No Mercy, WWF WrestleMania game, also made EA's DefJam Vendetta and DefJam Fight for New York. So basically, a lot of people like myself didn't like the realism of the SmackDown games, where you were essentially having different combo moves. I like the simplicity of the WrestleMania No Mercy games. They just were a lot more fun, and anybody can play them, even if you weren't you played a lot of video games, because there wasn't a crazy amount of things that you had to know. Every wrestler essentially had kind of the same way to do their moves. moves, just their own unique moves to each wrestler. And because everything got shifted to SmackDown with a more realistic take and a little bit more difficulty in terms of how you pull off moves and that, we were missing that fun experience of like a No Mercy or WrestleMania gave us. So if you were a kid of the 90s, chances are you probably were into hip-hop, and Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York were those games that kind of took the place of that. And as a hip-hop fan for myself, it was like, hell yeah, sign me up. I absolutely want to play these games.
I told you, man, the game don't stop.
But yeah, I wanted to kind of just go over that because I feel like that's really kind of important to know. Obviously, I think that I don't think it's like the same team, but I believe that studio had made the recent AEW Fight Forever game.
Are you daring enough to fight forever?
Aside from the idea of rappers beating the holy heck out of each other, Royal Rumble style, the series' biggest draw was the soundtrack. Most of the characters in the franchise were artists on the Def Jam label. You had folks like Ludacris and Warren G, and you also had some of the most banger tracks in the background as you bodied them. This blend of hip-hop and wrestling was unexpected, but it absolutely made sense in the context of rap culture and the concept of beef. Kotaku has reached out to EA for the comment about Ice-T's claim. Well, I mean, it's EA. Yeah, you really gonna sit there and believe that they didn't do this? But it also says, so if Ice-T is right, I guess we aren't getting a Def Jam reboot or remake anytime soon. I say you can still play them, but unless you can find hard copies of these games and the hardware they are playable on, it doesn't seem like any of them, not even the Xbox 360's Icon, are backward compatible on modern hardware. This one just stuck in the past, and it seems like that's a bummer. And definitely, it definitely sucks that we're not going to get another Def Jam game. Although, the one thing that I don't like, this isn't back in the 2000s where essentially you had only the mainstream publishers that if you didn't work with them or if you didn't have your game published by them, you were kind of screwed. If all of a sudden like a big couple like major like rappers decided to come together and then decide to make like a really cool game all together, it'd be difficult. I don't know if it actually would happen. It would be a mass success. Like if there was another Def Jam game and you had like Doja Cat sitting there with her like Doja Cat personality, and she just sit there and beat the holy hell out of everyone with like I guess she could be like the Black Cat from Spider-Man, or like what's another Cheetah? She could be Cheetah, something like that. You know, like when the crazy move set like that. Eminem could be potentially in the game. You could Travis Scott would be like, you know, it would just be really, really awesome if we ever did get another Def Jam game. Personally. But the sad truth is we probably won't, and it's a dang shame. I don't for a second not believe Ice-T's claim here about EA not paying anybody, or at the very most that they paid him, probably just not that much that they gave him. I fully, but I just don't trust EA at all. Do you remember playing Def Jam? And if you kind of created, were at the front of creating a new Def Jam game, who would be some of your like main fighters that you would have to have in your game, and maybe some locations? Let us know in the comments down below. I'm definitely interested to get this combo started. And thank you so much for, if you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like, and thank you so much for chilling with me, and hopefully we do get another Def Jam game. That would be dope, but if not, that's sad. And we'll see you all in the next gaming sessions.
I this out of my head to the depths of the universe. It's a spell or a chance just to open up a newer curse. If I swim too far, then my head goes under. If we take it as it is, then there ain't no wonder. It's hard to imagine that just one little blunder it